So, as the title of this video suggests, this video is a little different from my usual content. But considering my videos are usually about things I'm interested in talking about, it shouldn't be a surprise I would try my hand at inserting some of my other interests as well. As pretty much all of my friends will be aware, I like flags and generally just symbols for things. I find them incredibly interesting for some bizarre reason that I can't quite decipher myself other than just saying I just like them. This interest in flags and symbols also takes the form of video games as well. Something that will always initially get me interested in a video game is the talk of factions and similar kind of lore, especially if the game involves choosing a side. In general, I like learning about factions from video games, from their behavior and values all the way to their symbolism. And that symbolism is what I want to talk about here. I will be discussing flags and/or symbols from various video games and the groups within them, and discuss what I do and don't like about them. Now, there are a few things I want to add before getting into the details here. One, this is not a top 10 style list of my absolute favorite flags or anything like that. I'm not trying to pick out what I think are the best or the worst. I just picked out some I felt like are interesting to discuss for one reason or another. Second, these flags and symbols will be from video game franchises first and foremost. I want to talk about stuff that originated from the medium of video games itself, which means I will not be talking about franchises like Warhammer, The Witcher, Cyberpunk, or that one Blade Runner game. As much as I would love to talk more about the factions and lore present in these franchises in the future, they did not originate from the medium of video games. They started as things like tabletop games or books that were then adapted to the video game medium. Now, all that said, let's get to it. So, to start, I'll talk about some designs that I like, just to begin with a bit of positivity. First up is what I believe to be one of, if not the most iconic symbol of any video game location, and that is the insignia for the province of Skyrim, aka the insignia for the video game Skyrim, aka the insignia of the original Empire. To play out a bit of a meme, the symbol itself just works. The dragon is an obvious callback to the fact that Skyrim is the land of dragons, but there's a bit more to it than that. The dragon being in the shape of a diamond is also a call, as this symbol was the banner symbol for the Empire back in Tamriel's early years. In fact, the diamond without the dragon is now the symbol for the Imperials from Cyrodiil. So, the dragon is both a reference to Skyrim being the origin of dragons, but also the origin of the Empire itself and the first emperors who themselves were dragonborn, the legacy of which continued on for however many centuries or however long the Empire's been going on in the Elder Scrolls world. All in all, a great design packs a lot of history into a simple, unique-looking insignia. Now, to flip over to the other side of the Bethesda game coin, I've got the flag for the Enclave from Fallout. It's a fairly basic alternate history type of American flag, but again, it just works. All the Enclave really did was take the Betsy Ross flag and stick the Enclave E inside of the star circle. Honestly though, as stereotypical as that is, it's kind of fitting for the Enclave, given how they overtly claim whole dominion over the American wasteland, and seek to essentially wipe away all those currently living on it so as to make way for a new, restored America under their rule. Pretty fitting that they would similarly brandish the original American flag with their own insignia as well. Now, on the topic of stars, the flag of the Osean Federation from Ace Combat is very nice as well. I don't know too much about the Ace Combat lore, I just really like this design and how it flips the white and blue for the stars. Not much to say here, it just looks cool, I really like the contrast. I'm not even sure if there's any actual genuine symbolism in this, it just looks really cool. Other symbols with some very good yet fairly simple designs are the similarly shaped lambda symbol from Half-Life and the Borderlands Vault symbol. They're both really similar, actually, being a circle with some kind of A-shaped symbol in the middle, and in fact they both end up serving a similar purpose in their respective franchise stories. In Half-Life, the Lambda was originally meant to signify the Lambda Lab that Gordon needed to go to enter Zen and stop the Resonance Cascade for good in the first game. But it was also the symbol on Gordon's HEV suit. So, as the men who helped stop the first wave of alien invasion, the human resistance later took up Gordon as their hero figure and used the Lambda on his suit as their insignia. a symbol for humanity to rally behind in the cause of fighting the Combine. In Borderlands, meanwhile, the vault symbol was used more or less by vault hunters to signify who they were as they were searching for the vault, which is vaguely what the symbol is shaped like. As the franchise progressed and the vaults became less mysterious, factions began taking up the symbol of the vault for their causes. In fact, let's get to talking about one of those symbols. On the flip side of the good design of the vault symbol is the arguably bad design of the Crimson Raiders symbol. Now, I don't have anything against the idea of using the vault symbol as an addition for a faction here. In fact, it makes a lot of sense that the Crimson Raiders would use it since it was founded by former vault hunters. The problem is just in the design itself. It didn't do anything special with it. Whoever designed this just took the vault symbol and shoved a lance through the middle of it. I don't see much reason to put this lance here. It doesn't imply anything about the faction's relationship with the vault other than them being vault hunters. Personally, if I had to stick with the lance, I'd have two lances crossed over like an X over the vault, symbolizing the faction's apparent goal in the games being mainly to keep others from unleashing their power. If anything, the single lance through it could imply them maybe plundering the vault for themselves, which would fit the Raider name, but not so much their actual behaviors or goals. To continue on with the comparisons from good designs, let's go back to Bethesda for a second here. I already talked about how I like the design of the Enclave flag and how it fits their general ideology and style. In the opposite direction though, I really don't enjoy the Brotherhood of Steel flag. Not the insignia itself, I like that. That one looks fine. But the flag that they put it on. For one, personally, the red and white bars of the American flag just don't feel right without the stars in the corner. I get others might like it, but to me it just feels wrong somehow. Secondly, this design doesn't seem to fit the Brotherhood at all, at least in its implications. The Brotherhood of Steel was founded by American soldiers who went rogue after finding out about the FEV tests the government was running. They did away with their involvement with the US and instead made it their goal to effectively hoard as much pre-war tech as possible, so as to prevent them from being used by those who had essentially been proven unworthy as evidenced by the nuclear war. The Brotherhood makes no claim to the American legacy. If anything, they reject it. So why give them such explicit American symbolism like the original red and white stripes on the American flag? It makes sense for the Enclave. They openly call themselves the rightful American government, but the Brotherhood doesn't. And lastly, the design is just lazy. There's no attempt to merge Brotherhood symbolism with the flag or anything. They just slap the Brotherhood seal on the left side and call it a day. In short, it just doesn't work. Speaking of seals, let's jump over into another sci-fi franchise here before I end off. Halo. I love Halo. The franchise is great. I'm excited for Halo Infinite. I even like some of the more modern Halo games. But something from new Halo I really don't like is the new UNSC seal. Seriously, what was so wrong with the old one that they felt the need to remake it into this? It's like the reverse of that oversimplification meme. This is seriously overdoing it. The wings don't need such precise detail. The little orbs on the sides don't fit with the rest of the design anymore. The shield doesn't even have anything inside of it. If you're gonna use the shield design, at least put the UNSC acronym inside it, or just abandon the UNSC letters altogether. Just look at the old design. It's smooth, it flows, nothing is actively intruding on the design, and overall, the way it's drawn is far more unique and memorable than the new one. This change was just not worth it. But that's where I'll stop for today. I hope you enjoyed my little rant about flag and symbol design here. I really like faction stuff in video games, and one of the key mechanics to making a faction look interesting is giving them good symbolism to work with. So I figured these things are pretty important despite how overlooked they are by most. Regardless, I hope you all enjoyed, and who knows, maybe I'll make something similar to this in the future. For now though, this has been TheRatMan, and I will see you all later. And lastly, a special thank you shout out to my Patreon with a $5 a month pledge is Punch McLarge Huge. Thank you for the $5.